to the fourth lesson of this course, where we will be talking about nonlinear productivity. But let's start with a meditation. Settle into your body and feeling your skin all over the body. Focusing on your back, shoulders, arms, the hips, legs, the feet, ask yourself, how can I connect to my node on the decentralized creation network even more? Or whatever words you would like to use. You can make it shorter, longer, using other words. But the main intention is to strengthen the connection with your soul, to increase the bandwidth with your node, that you can feel or imagine in your upper belly area. The center of your energy body. So we have the node in the upper belly. Then we connect the groin area or the root chakra, and imagine a light beam between them. And we'd add the center of the head. So imagine a light beam going from the root chakra or groin area, passing through the node and the upper belly, and coming into the center of the head. Now extend that beam of light downwards, down into the core of the earth. Like gravity is guiding you down. Everything is moving towards the center of the earth. And so is this light beam. If you can get a sense of it to anchor into the core of the earth. And as you breathe, imagine breathing in and out in all directions. Open your eyes, come into the room, and find an object. You sense the distance from that object to a body part. So, for example, a lamp. And from that lamp to your belly, you feel the distance between. From the lamp to the belly. So you get this feeling of where your body ends and where the room starts. And then do the same with 2, 3 more objects around the room. So you get that spatial awareness. Activate your smelling sense. See if you pick up any smells in the room from your body. Scan your body and your energy body for anything that you are avoiding or pushing away. Something you don't want to think about, something you don't want to remember, or some negative emotions that you don't want to feel. Just allow them to come in. As you breathe in all directions. Moving towards that space where we don't avoid anything. The center of time and space, where we feel neutrality. We feel at peace. Remember that light beam from the core of the earth up into the root chakra, passing by all the different chakras into the head and continue out on top of the head. So we're coming into the first slide for today. And we talked about in the previous lesson how the filters are tricking us. And it's about understanding that they are filters. And when we stop identifying with them, we are able to see through them and they start melting away. But the design of the human body and the human energy body system is that we have a rational mind and an intuitive mind. And when they are able to work together properly, then the rational mind keeps creating models. And we could call these lightweight models because they're not created from difficult situations like traumas. So in the beginning of our journey, we have these filters created by difficult circumstances and inherited from our ancestors or coming from past lives. And they are all having strong charges with subjective agendas that make us confused. We think we want to fight for things, we want to achieve things. But when we clear up and we allow them to melt away, we still have models. That it's like a collection of data. And these models allow us to navigate the world in combination with our intuition. So as we move on in our journey and we upgrade our understanding and we get more experience and so on, then these lightweight models or lightweight filters are able to easier let go or modify, expand, and so on. It's not this strong charge as these heavier filters. And we don't have really the problem with identifying with them because it's part of the data that we have collected. So it's part of the models or the filters, the understanding that they are just models and not the objective truth. And with these lighter filters as support, we are able to take actions without fear. Actions without following a certain story or a narrative. They are constantly updated in the present moment. So we don't get stuck in a certain subjective worldview and move in that direction, but constantly recenter and doing like a status check. Is this still true? Or have I gone astray? Have I turned this impulse into a story that I'm now living into? And that's where the intuitive mind can come in and sense that different sort of a truth check or don't trust, verify. So we have this checking all the actions with the heart, you could say, in a way. So we go on with the actions and constantly check, is this true in this moment? So these actions then are not like linear actions towards a goal and with expectations. but instead they are like random actions that somehow fit together with other people's random actions. And that's the non-linearity of it. So they're sort of connected, but not visibly connected. So each person is doing his or her own thing. Everyone is following their inner guidance and doing things. And it's all sort of connected in this network of pure action, you can say. Maybe you can imagine a network of fear-based action. And this is the fiat system. So everything they do is based in fear and survival. And it sort of fits together because everyone is doing with a similar intention. So that's sort of like a negative action network. And then for the people who have activated their nodes and they act from a more abundant lifestyle or life view, and it's like all those actions can be seen as a network. So what do we do then? Why are we doing this? Yeah, we could look at some patterns and we can see what people are sort of doing when they are doing things without knowing why they're doing it. What comes out of that? And usually it's events for education about higher consciousness, self-development, knowing ourselves. But it doesn't have to be. It could be any topic about anything. But it's just this, the decentralization and the unconditional love is just part of it. So it could be about old cars, or it could be a festival about the environment. It doesn't matter. It's just people have their own sort of twist to this. But what is amazing with this is that we are creating our own future, and we are creating the future of others. So if we wouldn't do actions like this, we would be lost in the fear-based opportunities instead, because they create festivals and so on with intentions of greed and fear. And then we would have to participate in that. But the option we have as we go more and more into the higher consciousness on this planet is that more and more people create these kind of opportunities for others to meet on these platforms where the people who created them out of love. So the whole festival or whatever it is sort of built on love. It's not built on greed. So to participate, the vibe is very different. It's similar to a person that creates a company. The intention of the CEO or the founder of the company is spreading down through the whole company. So if you have a founder with a high frequency, where he's working more in a thriving mindset, where the quality of life is just as important as earning money, then everyone in that company will feel that frequency, that vibe. Everyone will be more prosperous and have more fun at work. But if you have a founder that is very fearful and greedy, then everyone in that company will be very stressed and not feel that they can enjoy life. The emphasis here is to create. If we ever think about something that never existed before, that we try to do it because it creates opportunities for us and for others. So we will live in this later. So we create our own future in this way. Value for value is something that gradually change with the level of consciousness that we experience. In the lower chakras and in the lower frequencies, there's a lot of scarcity and lack, while in the higher consciousness, we are connected with the limitlessness and abundance of the creation. So the filters in lower consciousness are tricking us to believe that we are not valuable, that we have to sacrifice ourselves for value, and that everything is limited. And as long as we identify with these filters, they are true for us. And they dictate how we live. So we live from these filters. So we act from these filters. And it works because that's what we believe. Then in higher consciousness, with awareness of the limitlessness of our node and the abundance of creation, we have these lightweight models or filters that explain to us that we don't need to worry, that we will have what we need. And that our external reality is just a mirror of our inner state. So if we have economical problems, it's something to do with internal processes. So these lightweight models tells us that we don't need to panic and start selling ourselves and start doing very hard work and so on. But they tell us that we have inner work to do with self-worth and similar areas. And these transition between these two very opposite worlds is usually a gradual one. And we take some actions of lower, then we take some actions of higher consciousness. And slowly, step by step, we are able to turn around our life And as we move up these higher levels of frequency, the external reality will mirror our self-love. So we will do things that we love to do. We will be able to have enough money for what we love to do. So at the core of value for value is our own self-value. As we talked about in the previous lesson, we are the mix between the known and the unknown. So what we know about ourselves, it's just a tiny part of what we can become. The physical body and the energy body are designed for so much more than we have so far seen. We are barely scratching the surface of the potential of the human body, the human experience. And we are discussing here how we can tap into that and discover more of our potential. And one of the tools is nonlinear productivity. If we take a look at what we're used to, linear productivity, then we work with the known. So we set up linear goals and we take actions toward them. And when we do that, we are not in the present moment. So we are not in our full potential because we are busy doing something according to old models, using the known rather than the unknown parameter of the creation. So when we use the unknown as part of our workflow, we are tapping into the present moment. We're tapping into the potential over and over again. And we are able to do these actions without fear. And when we do these actions without fear, in the beginning it can seem like not much are happening. Maybe we reach out to someone and it doesn't lead to anything in the following days or weeks. So we think it's nothing. Or we meet someone or we think of a project. It's just planting all these seeds in this higher state of consciousness, in this state of abundance, planting these seeds of actions without fear that will connect to this network of other people doing their part. And with time, when more and more people and we do more and more of these actions, we are building the new world, the new civilization that will be based on love. And to have that perspective, when we do the small things, one after the other, it can feel like they're meaningless. They don't lead to anything. But then if we have this lightweight model, understanding that we being true to ourselves, we doing small things, one step at a time, will actually create this new world that will be much better than the fiat world. So how do we do this nonlinear productivity? Yes, it is to stop and wait, center ourselves, becoming like peaceful and happy. Because if we're feeling stress or lack or something like that, we will not be able to do actions without fear. So this is the core of the practice. And what happens then is that the action just comes from that neutrality. It just feels right. It feels perfect. You feel like at ease and in flow with the creation. So this is how I created this course, how I came up with the idea, how I came up with the topics, how I created the slides, and how I guide the meditation, and how I talk to explain these concepts. If I feel pressure or stress and I try to do something, then I get stuck. When I try to do something, I go back to a rational mind. And the rational mind in this case is very limited to the known, to the old models. So then, if I try to do something with the rational mind, I maybe get something little done and then it's stuck. So this is not coming from the mind. When we do these actions without fear, they're coming from higher consciousness, beyond the mind. So to prepare for this course, it's not about memorizing things, writing down what I should say. It's just about staying centered, and it comes naturally, and I just know what to say. In the beginning of our journey, we will have different filters coming up and blocking this process. So remember that these filters, triggers that come up,